Good afternoon, everyone. It's David Schlotthauer here in the home weather office for Sunday, September 24th, 2023. In today's update, we're going to be looking at the entire United States because there are big weather pattern changes coming, especially for the Pacific Northwest, where a big atmospheric river storm will cause a lot of flooding, lots of heavy rainfall, and strong winds. Also, if you would really like to hang out with me and talk to me on a daily basis, be sure to check out the Weather Force Discord server. There will be a link in the description right below this video. It is now official, open to the public, and a lot of you were wondering about that in the past. So here is the Discord server. So we're going to look at the Pacific Northwest first because this is a big storm that is currently developing right now in the northeastern Pacific as a bomb cyclone. One of the strongest systems in September this time of the year. This is not typically seen until we get into late December into January and February. But wow, what a big system right now being seen from the College Ado page here with the visible and IR satellite imagery. Curly Q here, a indication we have a very mature bombing cyclone going on right now with a very strong jet streak coming in out of the northwest, rounding the base of this trough, helping to bring in a lot of dynamical lift on the right front quadrant, and that's why we're seeing a lot of moisture being squeezed out into an atmospheric river type setup that is hitting Northern California. So right here across I-5, if you're on 101 in Crescent City, if you're in Fort Bragg to the north, if you're in, say Portland, Oregon, if you are along the coast here of Washington, including for, say, Seattle, going to get pretty inundated here with heavy rainfall, strong winds with this bombing cyclone. And we'll be looking at the models here right now, in fact, to take a look at that system. So here's a look at the European model, and again, we're really focusing on Washington and Oregon and the Intermountain West because, yeah, there might be a little bit of snow for the highest peaks, but mainly going to be in the form of very heavy rainfall, strong winds that could get close to hurricane force wind gusts, but mainly storm force, gale force along the Oregon coast and northwestern tip of California. So this is good news, at least for some areas that are still in a drought up here, or especially in Oregon, Washington. This is really going to help out a lot. So overnight tonight, this is 2 in the morning, so because this is Pacific Daylight Time, by the way, and this is local time. So Oregon, Washington getting hit really hard overnight here into Sunday and a Monday with a lot of heavy rainfall, lots of wind. You're going to be woken up due to maybe some power outages along the coast because of this atmospheric river and the heavy rainfall that is associated with this system. By tomorrow morning, though, actually this is by tomorrow afternoon into Monday night into Tuesday morning for your morning commute for Tuesday. Going to still see quite a bit of showers and thunderstorm potential as that cooler air loft moves in behind the front. And so you're going to see some instability. When you got cold air overlapping warmer air, well, the air's more buoyant. It's going to rise, and we're going to get thunderstorms that do develop. And some of these storms could contain some small hail, some gusty winds as those move from west to east into basically, if you're in Kennewick, if you are in Spokane in Washington, just be aware, going to see some showers and storms as the cooler air moves through. And then, of course, another little bit of a glocket. I call them glockets because they're little tiny systems that kind of impulses of energy that move through. And this is for Wednesday morning. Another piece of energy moves onshore of Oregon and Washington. And so, yeah, over the next 84 hours, you're going to see some pretty active weather up there. Long to go with some breezy and strong winds. And then things should gradually dry out by the end of this work week. So right now, the best chances of any showers look to happen if you are, say, north of Portland, probably through Thursday. But through much of the Pacific Northwest, all the way through Wednesday at least, we're looking at quite a bit of rainfall. And again, a very high elevation snowfall. You'll have to go up to about 8,000 or 9,000 feet to find any snow. This is the warm system moving through. So another product that I like to look at is our amount of perceptible water, or precipitable water, in other words, the atmospheric river product that we'd like to use here on the channel. You'll see a lot more of this for my winter updates for the West, because I do cover the West really well. We can definitely see a good atmospheric river here. These PWatts are really high for this time of the year, anywhere between 1.75 inches to almost 2 inches, which is really, really a lot of water being squeezed out. If the dynamics coming together, of course, you need baroclinic lift, you need dynamical lift throughout the atmosphere. You need a source of that, and the winds that come with this will be enough to generate a lot of kind of strato kind of lifting throughout the atmosphere. And so we're likely to see a lot of orographic rain showers along the coast here of northwestern California. I mean, northwest, like Crescent City, into Oregon and Washington. And again, some of this could be pretty substantial. I mean, look at this river of moisture really, really moving through. And you all are probably saying, in the Bay Area, are we going to get hit with this? Even so, there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere here. A lot of the lift, the dynamical lift needed for these to get triggered to produce a lot of rainfall is actually going to be lifting off to the northeast. So a lot of the ascent is going to be moving out while we have this moisture left behind. We might get quite a bit of cloud cover, maybe more sticky conditions, kind of humid out there, but we're really not going to see any much in the way of substantial rainfall. We're not going to see 2 or 4 inches in Sacramento, San Francisco, San Jose, that sort of thing, or even in the Sierra. This is going to be it's going to just get torn apart because of that forcing mechanism, and really this is not going to do much at all once it gets into Southern California. So now, what is the impetus behind such a dynamic system? Why are we seeing this thing just blow up, like literally kind of a weather bomb, we call it, or a bombing cyclone? Is because we have a very strong jet. This mid-level flow here at about 18,000 feet is pretty strong, anywhere between 85 knots to almost about 100 knots. In the right front quadrant, we have this speed max right in here. That's about 110 knots. That is very, very strong when you think about it. That's at 500 millibars, but at 250 millibars, this is about a 34,000 foot jet here. That's very strong for this afternoon. And yeah, that's kicking at about 160, 170 knots. And it might even get a little stronger before it begins to weaken. But different levels of the atmosphere you go, you'll find stronger jets. But right now, that jet is just kicking right now, very strong. And that's why we are seeing such a dynamical system as you see here on the satellite imagery. It all works with baroclinic deepening. And for baroclinic deepening, you need a source of forcing, you need a source of lift, and these jet streams are perfect for that, especially when you get divergent flow aloft, because when you get divergent flow aloft, the air below it wants to rise and fill that void, and that void is a low pressure area that we have. So surface pressure, when we actually look at let's go to our heights, and we actually go over, right here, this is what we want to look for. So you can see early on, we can see where that surface flow was, right? And it just really gets going. 959 millibars, even 958 perhaps on this system. That is really, really deep for this time of the year. And how deep is it, you might ask? Like, how unusual? It is really unusual. I mean, it is on the very bottom, 50 millibars deeper than it should be for this time of the year. That is pretty much historic at this level of sense. And that's why we're talking about it in today's video. Now, how much rainfall could you see out of this system? Anywhere between 2 to 4 inches, depending on where you're at, from northwestern California, along the Cascade Range and west of the Cascades. There is oops, sorry if I banged my elbow on my desk. Sorry about that. But if you go east of the Cascades, a rain shadow effect. So you're not going to pick up hardly anything if you're lucky to get a 1/4 of an inch. If you're in Kennewick, if you're in Spokane, you might see about a 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 an inch. But west of these Cascades, where we get a lot of the moisture that gets orographically forced and gets squeezed out, we could pick up a lot of rainfall. And some of the Olympic Mountains here of Washington and even the northern Cascades here, like say Canada, could get quite a bit here, maybe as much as 6 to 12 inches of rainfall on the NBM forecast. The Euro, pretty similar to that, with anywhere between 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. So the concern here is that there could and there will likely be flooding. So just be aware of that. Maybe some mudslides, debris flows, that sort of thing. We've had some fires up there this summer. They're going to get extinguished, but also there could be some mud flows with the amount of rainfall that we're going to actually see. Taking a look at the rest of the country, I don't want to forget about you all living in the Midwest, in the high plains, the deep south, the desert southwest. Even for the West Coast and the Northeast, we really want to cover every little piece that we can in today's update, since I haven't uploaded for a couple of days, nor have I uploaded on the US in quite some time. So it's a good idea that we kind of go through this pretty thoroughly. So this is for this afternoon. Of course, we talked about the Pacific Northwest, lots of rainfall, strong winds there. We have a weather system moving in across the Midwest and the northern plains. This is going to generate us some severe weather today, maybe some golf ball size hail, maybe some wind gusts that could be pretty strong with that. And that disturbance is going to continue to kind of evolve further south as it gets kind of cut off. We got a ridge of high pressure that's going to be building in. In fact, we have large-scale ridging that's going to really shape up here for much of the Midwest and extending across California. So therefore, really not much dynamical systems that we're talking about in days to come. In fact, all the way through the next 90 hours, in fact, even the next 4 days, we're really not looking at any active weather, except if you are across the southeast. We're going to probably continue to see on again, off again showers and thunderstorms, maybe some minor flooding from time to time. But, I mean, it could be a lot worse, right? We can be dealing with a lot of more like tropical like rains, like Ophelia, you know how that kind of ended up being. A lot of rainfall for these areas. We're not going to see anything like that. But yeah, definitely it will impact your plans if you're doing anything outdoors this week. Even the latter part of the week, just be aware, watch the sky. You might get some showers and thunderstorms that could be quite significant. Pretty brief, but, you know, kind of a flip of a light switch kind of thing. Might see these storms really pop off. And then by October 1st, yes, can you believe it, folks? We're already inching closer to October 1st. I mean, we're 7 days away. Actually, we are technically 8 days, if you count today still, from October 1st. And it's the 10th month of the year, and we're only a couple months then from January 1st. Happy New Year. Well, I shouldn't say it yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. This year has went by so fast, and yeah, can't believe summer is already over. Well, for some locations. Wait until you see the temperatures. Might not be for some locations. So looking at those temperatures, actually, because it's going to be warm, it's still maybe some triple digits for Texas. I know, it doesn't seem possible this time of the year, but it's going to be possible. The mission impossible, I always say. That is, we're going to see some really warm temperatures. So as we go forward here, this is not loading really well. So I'm hoping we're able to bring that up. There we go. So we can see temperatures are going to be pretty mild for your Monday morning. So when you wake up for Texas, upper 70s, low 80s. I mean, can it end already? Can this warm spell ever get the heck out of the way? For Texas, for Louisiana, it's been a while since you've seen temperatures really cool at night. And it's not going to get any better, I don't think, for a while. So by the afternoon hours, some of these areas down here might squeeze out upper 90s, maybe some triple digits, maybe some upper 90s and triple digits in Phoenix, Arizona, maybe Tucson, Arizona, going to get some summer heat. I mean, it's fall and it's summer down there, feels like it. And then in the Midwest, you're going to have temperatures warming to well above average normals by the middle of this week. And you can see that already temperatures in the 80s, maybe some low 90s in Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, even in southern Indiana, southern Illinois. You might squeeze out some low to mid 80s out there for your Tuesday. And then by Wednesday morning, you do get some cooler nighttime lows up here, right? That's going to be nice. So at least open the windows, let the air in. Cool off your house more efficiently without using the AC or anything that would use a lot of electricity. But down here in Texas, it's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a tough one. Look at Phoenix, Arizona. Might be 106 degrees for your Wednesday, according to the Euro here. So some really warm temperatures Indian summer has not arrived there just yet. Even for the Midwest here, for Texas, Oklahoma, maybe some mid to upper 90s perhaps by Thursday, with very poor overnight recoveries in the upper 70s to lower 80s. And then we will do the same thing, really warm back here in the Midwest in days to come. Possibly some record high temperatures, certainly daily records, monthly records could be challenged by late September, or even perhaps on the first day of October next week, could see temperatures almost near 90 degrees in southern and southwestern portion there of Minnesota. I mean, the Arctic air is not here yet. So looking at your temperature anomaly forecast, I wanted to show you all this. Some issues here with Weather Bell today. Going forward, definitely above average temperatures for Canada. So if you're in Nova Scotia, if you're in Quebec, Ontario, Canada, all above average. It's been a dreadful one this year. You haven't had a really mild summer. It's been really warm up there with temperatures ranging between 15 to 25 degrees above normal. It's only going to get warmer because we have that ridge that's building in. Days 4 and 5, the Midwest is going to be cooking hot, with temperatures anywhere between 10 to 15 degrees. Look at this. My goodness. By days 6, 7, and 8, temperatures here in portions of, say, Minnesota and also for the Dakotas could have daytime highs possibly 15 to 25 degrees above normal. Those will be some records that we will have to watch. Even up here across Hudson Bay, if you're in Alberta, British Columbia, if you are over here in Nova Scotia, Manitoba, Canada, really going to be warm. Where you won't find the warmth will be out west here over California, Nevada. Later on in the period, we're going to see more cooler weather because we're going to have more chances of maybe more showers and more cooler onshore breezes to help send temperatures back down below normal. But look at this. My goodness. Temperatures are just going to be warm, even hot. You could arguably enough say it's going to be hot in Minnesota when you shouldn't see temperatures that warm this time of the year. Now, something cool that I wanted to show you all on Radar Omega, we're going to do this a little bit differently before we end the video, is looking at the Climate Prediction Center on our fingertips, and that is from Radar Omega. Instead of going to the Climate Prediction Center, it is here as well, which is great because we could actually zoom in and interact with this a little bit more. So we're going to start looking at the Northeast, where we are going to see temperatures likely above average. You can see here there is a 60 to 70% chance that you're going to have temperatures above normal. So that means the chances of seeing below average temperatures probably going to be non-existent. But look at this. For Illinois, you have an 80% chance of seeing temperatures above average. Like Des Moines, if you're in Springfield, going to be really warm. And this is through the next 6 to 10 days. You can see it right here. I have that checked on. So for La Crosse, if you're in Eau Claire, going to be really warm to in September into early October, and down here into, say, Texas, gonna have temperatures likely above average. But if you're out west here, we're gonna have temperatures below average likely. So like Boise, Idaho, a 60% chance. Over Twin Falls, Elko, Ely, you have temperatures there below average, including for California. It's nice to see my area in the blue where we have a leaning chance, that is, seeing temperatures that could be below average. As far as precipitation goes, we can see that areas in the brown here. Let me make sure I get this entirely on the map so you all can see. Definitely below average if you're in Montpelier, if you are in Columbus, if you're in Detroit, you have a 40% chance of seeing below average precipitation. So that's like either rain or snow, maybe hail or severe weather events, be below average. But if you're across the northern tier, you have a 40 to 50% chance of seeing above normal precipitation. Looking at our 8 to 14 day forecast, still warm. I mean, cannot wrap my head around this. It's just, you have had some Arctic outbreaks, some cooler shots of air, but overall, it's just been warm. It just hasn't let up for much of the Midwest and the Deep South here, especially Louisiana and Texas. I cannot believe how you all are still putting up with these warm temperatures. Humidity just stifling out there. I just feel bad for you all. I really hope you all get some cooler weather and get some needed relief from these hot, humid conditions. Looking at the 8 to 14 day forecast, possibly some above normal precipitation for the high plains, for the northern plains. The next 3 to 4 weeks, you're also looking at, you guessed it, above normal temperatures for Houston, Texas, for New Orleans, for Florida. Really going to be a problem. I mean, as long as that orange stays along the deep south, that means the Gulf of Mexico is going to stay very warm. Those waters going to be primed for what could be a busy October as far as the tropics go. For the Northeast, you're going to still see a slight chance for above average temperatures, with below average for the West. Now, looking at your precipitation over the next 3 to 4 weeks, you can see there 3 areas that we have to monitor for maybe the chances for above normal precipitation. And that's a look at your Climate Prediction Center on your fingertips on Radar Omega. Well, that's going to sum it up for today's video. If this was very helpful and really well detailed and really well planned out, please consider subscribing. It really means a lot to me, folks. We're getting close to 16,000 subscribers. I cannot even believe it. I mean, we've only had this channel for a year. We're already almost up there to the 16K celebrity mark. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It really means a lot. Also hitting the like button and sharing this video with your family and friends on social media.